All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about a piece of math you see all the time, but its story, well, its story is incredible. It spans over 3,000 years, starting way back in ancient Babylon and leading right up to the very device you're watching this on. So yeah, let's get into it.
So picture this. It's 1800 BCE, and a Babylonian scribe is working on his calculations. He runs into a problem, something like 5 minus 7, and he just stops. Because you can't have negative 2 sheep, right? You can have a dead of 2 sheep, for sure, but the actual physical sheep are just gone. But he also had this gut feeling about something else. The distance to a place, the length of a field, that's always positive. And that little puzzle, that whole sheep dilemma, it actually planted the first seed of this huge idea. He was starting to realize that a number's value isn't just about whether it's positive or negative, a gain or a loss. It's also about its size, its raw, unadulterated magnitude.
Okay, now let's fast forward more than 2,000 years. We're in 7th century India with this absolute genius of a mathematician, Brahmagupta. And he makes this massive leap forward. He's the one who creates the first real rules for negative numbers. He said, a debt subtracted from 0 is a credit. Such a simple, beautiful idea. And with that, negative numbers finally had a logical, official spot in mathematics. Even though, and this is wild, a lot of folks in Europe would refuse to accept them for another 1,000 years.
So Brahmagupta's work really set the stage. Now that negative numbers were officially a thing, some of history's greatest minds could start tackling that next piece of the puzzle. How do you talk about a number's size without worrying about its sign?
And you know what I love about this is it just goes to show you that math isn't some lone genius having a eureka moment in a vacuum. No, it's this incredible global relay race of knowledge. The baton gets passed from Babylon to India to France to Switzerland, with each person adding their own crucial piece to the puzzle over centuries. It's a team sport played across time.
Then, in 1637, René Descartes gives us a way to actually see absolute value. He takes his brand new invention, the Cartesian coordinate system, plots the equation y equals the absolute value of x, and bam, he gets this iconic V shape. Just look at it. Any positive number you put in for x on the right side, you get the same number back for y. But any negative number you put in on the left, it gets reflected up, becoming its positive mirror image. For the first time ever, this idea had a picture.
And then, maybe 100 years after that, the brilliant Leonhard Euler comes along and gives us this. 2 simple, perfect, vertical bars. That's it. It was this incredibly elegant, universal symbol for a problem that had been bugging people for thousands of years. No more wordy explanations, just a clean symbol that asks one simple question. How far is this thing from 0?
So, after all that history, what does this powerful little symbol actually mean? We've traced its journey, now let's really nail down the definition.
It's really that simple and that profound. It just strips away the direction, the positive or the negative, and tells you one thing. How many steps away from 0 are you? The absolute value of 4 is 4, because you're 4 steps away. And the absolute value of negative 4? It's also 4, because you're still just 4 steps away. It's all about distance.
Now, there are a couple of key rules you got to remember. First, the answer you get is always positive, right? Because distance can't be negative. And second, when you see those bars in a bigger equation, they act just like parentheses. You have to do the math inside them first. So for 3 minus 7, you solve that to get negative 4, and then you take the absolute value of the result, which is positive 4.
Okay, so we know the why from the history, and we know the what from the definition. So let's get practical. Let's look at the how. How do you actually solve an equation when it's got those absolute value bars in it?
It's actually a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First, you get the absolute value part all by itself on one side. Then, and this is the most important part, you have to split the problem in 2. Remember, the stuff inside the bars could have started out as positive or negative. So you have to create 2 separate equations to check both possibilities. And finally, step 3, you just solve both of those new equations.
Let's see it in action here. We've got the absolute value of x minus 3 equals 3. So, we split it. Our first case is that x minus 3 equals positive 3. Solve that, and you get x equals 6. Our second case is that x minus 3 equals negative 3. Solve that, and you get x equals 0. So boom, we've got 2 correct solutions, 6 and 0.
But listen up. Here's a huge tip. This is a trap you have to watch out for. Since absolute value is just distance, it can never, ever be a negative number. So if you're solving a problem and you get it down to something like the absolute value of x equals -5, you can stop right there. You're done. The answer is no solution.
So, after this 3,000-year journey, why should you care? Why does any of this matter right now? Well, it turns out that this ancient idea that started with confusion about sheep, it's quietly running our modern world in ways you probably never even realized.
I mean, just think about it. When a seismograph measures an earthquake's magnitude, it's using absolute value. It's describing the raw power. It doesn't care if the ground moved north or south. Or, when your GPS finds the fastest route, it's using absolute value to measure pure distance. The stock market, engineering, you name it. Anytime you need to measure the sheer size of something and the direction just doesn't matter, absolute value is the tool for the job.
So, from a scribe's ancient clay tablet to the complex code that's running our cities today, the story of absolute value is this amazing testament to human curiosity. It shows how knowledge gets built piece by piece across cultures and across thousands of years. It's a concept that has literally crossed continents and millennia, and it just leaves you wondering, where's it going to take us next?